best stories in sports. This is an E60 feature presentation.
In my mind, I always thought something was going to happen to where I would play. I was looking forward to this date right here. What does baseball mean to me? Something that saved my life.
It's opening day of the 2012 Wake Forest baseball season. 20-year-old Kevin Jordan is a redshirt freshman set to start in left field.
We were really, really excited to see what he could do once he's finally on the field. He was under a microscope at that point.
It's a day that almost didn't happen. A baseball dream that almost wasn't realized. Until a gift from someone willing to risk everything. Someone Kevin Jordan barely knew.
Go! Go! Go!
Do it, do it, do it.
Growing up the youngest of two boys in Columbus, Georgia, Kevin loved sports. An Atlanta Braves fan, he began to play baseball when he was 6 years old.
He played two positions in a game because he would pitch and go and cover the shortstop's position. And he was able to do it. He had that ability and those tools early on.
His ultimate goal at that time was to work as hard as he could to pursue a professional career in baseball.
By the time he reached high school, Kevin was a star, 3 times winning all city honors. At the start of his senior year of high school, in September of 2009, Kevin visited Wake Forest.
In baseball, we talk about tools: hit, run, throw, hit for power, and defense. And KJ was one of those kids who had all 5 of those tools.
Tom Walter had been the head coach at the University of New Orleans for the previous 5 years. There, in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, the father of 2 helped rebuild the community and the baseball program.
I heard about Wake Forest being an ACC school with a new coach. We did our research on what type of guy the coach was. When we actually got to meet him, we kind of fell in love with him as a coach and as a guy.
2 months later, Kevin committed to Wake Forest. He had just been named an Under Armour High School preseason All-American. Scouts projected he could be picked in the first round in the 2010 Major League Draft. But midway through his senior year of high school baseball, his production suddenly began to decline.
I started to get really sick and I thought it was a flu. I was throwing up after games, like I couldn't eat, I couldn't hold food down.
We took him to the doctor right off the bat, and again, they said at first it was just a cold and take this and this, but it actually got worse.
He played through it. Even though he would be sick and he would be tired, he still kind of worked through it as we tried to figure out what was going on.
The funny thing is that the scouts were there and the scouts could pick apart everything that was wrong. They were like, you look tired, you look a little bit slower, your power's not there.
I actually had a scout come up and tell me, why don't y'all take that kid to the doctor? You know something wrong. And I'm sitting there saying, we are taking him to the doctor. I mean, we're taking him to every doctor we know.
In April 2010, after more than 20 doctor's appointments and 5 months of uncertainty, Kevin and his family finally received a diagnosis. ANCA vasculitis is a rare autoimmune disorder that causes kidney failure and is fatal if left untreated. To save his kidneys, doctors started Kevin on an intensive course of dialysis 3 times a week, along with steroids and chemotherapy treatments. 2 months after the diagnosis, Kevin, once projected to be a first-round pick, was taken in the 19th round by the New York Yankees.
When I was drafted, I was in a hospital getting the tubes put in me to do dialysis. I wasn't worried about college or pro. I was kind of worried about how I'm going to get back healthy.
3 months after the initial diagnosis, in July of 2010, doctors informed Kevin his treatments were not working. He would need a kidney transplant. A few weeks later, Kevin and his parents drove to Wake Forest to meet with the baseball staff and the medical team. Coach Walter had not seen Kevin since his official visit 11 months earlier.
It didn't look like the same person at all. Didn't look like an athlete. Had I not known where he was, I wouldn't have recognized him.
What percentage of Kevin's kidneys were doing their job?
His kidney function was less than 10% of yours and mine. And you can't function, you can't live with less than 10% kidney function. But without kidney dialysis treatments, it's typically measured survival in weeks to months.
He was taking 35 pills a day. The doctor walked through all that. He said, look, medication's not gonna fix this. You're gonna need a kidney transplant.
I think they were a little stalled, and we were a little worried too, because we were worried about maintenance of the scholarship.
I remember that conversation very specifically. He said, is Kevin's scholarship gonna be good? And I said, absolutely. There isn't any question Kevin's scholarship's gonna be good.
At Wake Forest, in between classes, Kevin had to hook himself up to a dialysis machine in his dorm. His parents and brother underwent a series of medical tests to determine if any of them could donate a kidney to Kevin.
As long as I live, I'll never forget that day when I got the call. It was out of my control and I couldn't.
No one in Kevin's family was a viable match. He was placed on the National Organ Donor Wait List, which has an average wait time of 4 to 5 years.
I pulled his dad aside and I just said, hey, look, if you need me to get tested, just let me know where to go and what to do. I'll get tested today.
Coach Walter underwent a 6-week battery of tests to determine if he was a viable match. On January 28, 2011, he was running the first team practice.
I had my phone with me that day because I was waiting for that call. About an hour into practice, I stepped aside. She said, Coach, we found out you're a match. And I said, thank God. I called Kevin and I just said, what are you doing February 7th? He said that his calendar was free. And I said, well, I'll meet you at Emory and we'll get this thing done. And he said, all right, I'll be there.
It was really hard to control emotion when you know you're about to get like a second chance. I just ended the conversation with like a thank you. Like, I wasn't expecting this, but thank you.
This seems like a simple question. Why donate?
Why donate is a simple answer, and it's because there was just no way I was going to sit on the sidelines and watch this young man fight for his life when I could help.
On the morning of February 7th, 2011, at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta, 42-year-old Tom Walter gave a kidney to his 19-year-old outfielder who had never played a single game for him. After a 5.5-hour surgery, coach and player awoke.
I just remember not feeling sick. It took me probably about 15 minutes to realize that this surgery saved my life.
The kidney was functioning beautifully. So it was a pretty emotional moment to know that the kidney was doing what it's supposed to do. Okay. Wake Forest since.
I'm kind of glad to see Coach walking around. He looks 100% almost. So hopefully I can catch up with him.
What's the risk for Coach Walter moving forward, having lost a kidney, essentially?
We're all born with much more kidney function than we need. Coach Walter's outlook is superb.
Now that Kevin has had the transplant, what does he expect from life moving forward?
This coach and his family have been blessed, and it's possible this kidney will go a very, very long time.
Our prayers have been answered. So I will, like I said, we will always be eternally grateful to him.
"11 days after surgery, Coach Walter was on the road with his team as Wake Forest opened its season at Louisiana State University. Throughout the season, Walter and Jordan texted to see how each other was doing.
I'll send him one.
While Kevin was recovering at his parents' home. Just over a month after the surgery, Kevin returned to Wake Forest.
Yeah, I'm good. Oh, brother. How's it going, man? You doing good?
I got it. Good.
Oh, big guy.
What's up, buddy? James.
Doing all right? Hey, big guy.
It was a lot of motivation to see all my teammates, see everybody that I used to play with right next to me, and I'm 170 pounds and they're as healthy as ever. As soon as my doctors told me that, yeah, you can work out, there was 2 workouts a day. I was doing everything I could do to kind of catch up.
Over the next 11 months, through strength and conditioning, Kevin regained nearly all of the 40 pounds of muscle he had lost. After missing his entire freshman season, just over 1 year after the transplant, on February 17th, 2012, with his father in the stands, Kevin Jordan suited up for his first ever college baseball game.
Coming to the plate, number 21, left fielder, Kevin Jordan.
And it's Kevin Jordan, the redshirt freshman from Columbus, Georgia, making his collegiate debut.
Oh, that was good.
It's really hard to jump back into baseball like that.
Kevin has struck out 3 times, once looking.
The game was going by really fast. I feel like I just stepped in the box and it was 2 strikes on me.
Tom Walter comes down, wants to talk with Kevin Jordan for a minute.
He called time and got right in my face and was like, dude, you need to calm down.
You know, it's a long season, and just get back to doing what you do. See the baseball, hit the baseball.
I'm sure that Kevin is probably pressing for this much anticipated moment of his first college game.
Go!
He lines it into right field. A first college hit for Kevin Jordan.
It's a day that almost didn't happen. A baseball dream that almost wasn't realized. Until a gift.
It was the best decision I've ever made. Not even close.
Coach giving me the opportunity to do whatever else I wanted to do in my life is what that transplant meant. It's a lot bigger than baseball. It's my life back.